It's the Spiker Surf 2025 Open Conference coming to you live from the Rizal Memorial Coliseum. And we're excited to bring you the second of three matches that you're going to be witnessing here on Filipinas Live. The Alpha Insurance Protectors going up against the VNS-Laticrete Griffins. Both teams looking for their first wins in this conference and hoping that whoever gets a victory here today will propel them to a much better showing in the preliminaries. We got Jot Sulit and Miss Ivy Remulla covering the game, the second game for you guys, and we all saw the Signal HD Spikers exert their might anew earlier against Navy. Excited for this one we're about to cover, Ivy.
That's right. I'm as excited as everybody is because, like we've mentioned, we expect this to be an action-packed match-up because, again, these two teams are still looking for their first win here in this tournament.
Absolutely, and you're going to be expecting a lot of skill, a lot of passion, and a lot of sickness of losing coming into play here as we take a look at the team standings. Only 4 teams will advance to the next round, so VNS and Alpha trying to still make a last-minute play for that.
That's right. So this is a double elimination preliminary round, but each win, of course, will matter for all of these teams, especially for these two teams that are matching up for this afternoon. They still have yet to put a win in that win column, and a very, very slight margin, actually, in terms of the standings that they have right now. Only by a few points because they also had the same win-loss record in terms of number of sets for all of the matches that they lost.
That's why this game is going to be extremely crucial. And we also have to mention that these two teams both came close to getting wins. In fact, if you take a look at the previous game of Alpha Insurance, that was a 5-setter that they lost against Savoj, and all 5 of those sets were very close.
That's right. So this actually says a lot about what this new team, Alpha Insurance, has to offer. It was a very exciting 5-set match against Savoj. As you mentioned, all of the sets were really close. They actually almost had an upset because they lost the first 2 sets, managed to recover the 3rd and the 4th. The 5th was very, very close, and though talagang it just ran out of gas and was not able to win against Savoj.
One big reason why Alpha Insurance was able to stay close, in fact, like Ivy mentioned, almost stealing that win against from Savoj, is Vincent Nadera, who is absolutely brilliant in that game. In fact, our production team was ready to build a whole highlight for him as best player of the game in case Alpha Insurance got the win.
And that's how ready he always is, Vincent Nadera. You know, he has been very, very consistent again for Alpha Insurance in their last match against Savoj. He was he's actually the highest pointer. He scored 26 points, 23 points out of attacks, 1 block, 2 aces. And let's not forget about the attack efficiency. 23 attacks out of the 40 attempts, so that's 57.5 efficiency rate. That says a lot about what Vincent can do.
Absolutely. Now let's cross over to the side of the VNS Griffins. It was just unfortunate that they fell victim to the wrath of Signal HD, losing that match in 3 sets, because that's just what Signal has been doing all conference long.
The Signal has been really very consistent, so this is actually a very tough assignment for the younger VNS squad. We all know that the squad has always been filled in very young players trying to get the experience, but they still performed well despite that 3-set loss. And again, we're looking at a very strong team. First set was very tight, but the second and third, the Signal did not look back. They just wanted to make sure they're not giving any more confidence to the young squad.
You know, for a young squad like VNS, going up against a multi-time champion in Signal, if you're the coach, you're looking for who's going to have the guts to step up against these veterans and play at a high level. And for VNS, the answer to that was CJ Segi.
Yes, CJ Segi, again, one of the most consistent players in this very young squad. He has been contributing. He's always been scoring heavily for the team. If they need to earn points, then you just need to put the play in with CJ Segi. He has been taking the lead for this young team, and in their last match against Signal, he scored 11 points. He's the lone double-digit scorer for the entire squad.
And Segi will also be relied on heavily today if VNS will hope to finally break the barrier and get their first win. Before we get to the action, let's head on over and send it to Alexis Tinsay, who has our Filipinas Live poll question for all of you.
Now, Judd and Ivy, it's exciting to have another Sunday volleyball frenzy, and here we love interacting with our Spiker Surf fans. If you're on the Filipinas Live app, we have a poll just below your stream asking which team will collect their first
referees officiating this match. First referee, Fernando Velarde. Second referee, Bonifacio Abug. And now let's meet the starters. First, for the Alpha Insurance Protectors. Outside spiker number 7, JJ Havilona. Middle blocker number 8, Ray Sabanal. Outside hitter number 10, Francis Casas. Setter number 12, Jerome Lopez. Middle blocker number 16, Jepoy Abunyawan. And opposite hitter number 18, Don Nadera. Starting libero number 4, Maru Takeda. Head coach for Alpha Insurance is Mike Santos. And now the starters for the VNS-Laticrete Griffins. Outside spiker number 8, team captain CJ Segi. Setter number 3, Chan Mangulabnan. Opposite hitter number 5, RK Medino. Outside spiker number 6, Casey Kulabat. Middle blocker number 14, Rash Nursitig. And another middle blocker number 20, Rayten Balean. Starting libero number 21, JM Espanto. Head coach for VNS is Ralph Ocampo.
We take a look at the starting 6 for your Alpha Insurance Protectors. Of course, you're taking a look at Vincent Nadera and JM Havilona, 2 of the guys who starred for them in that previous match. A tough loss, heartbreaker of a loss against Savoj. And for VNS-Laticrete Griffins, CJ Segi will be the man that will keep a keen eye on. But it's very exciting, Ivy, with these 2 teams because a lot of new names rising in the scene of Philippine men's volleyball, and we're going to be seeing the development and the rise to stardom of a lot of these players.
That's right. So this is good opportunity for those, to be given the chance to showcase the talent that they have. And again, these 2 teams probably have the youngest rosters, in the entire tournament. So again, a lot of talent that we will be seeing here. And I'm sure that they would still grow, as they move on and continue to participate in the tournament.
Because that's also what we saw previously for some of the bigger names now and established names in the Spikers turf. Nagkaroon din ng time that maybe, may potential lang itong mga to.
So they became a rookie at some point, the young ones at some point, but now they're more the senior ones. And I'm sure these are the players that these young players right now playing are looking up to. So siguro minsan nasa starstruck din niya pag nakakalaban nila.
Yeah, but they say that you gotta turn your idols into rivals, and that's just how it goes. And so far, both teams have scored a point each. Earlier, the VNS immediately going to CJ Segi. Here now is the attack from Segi, met by the block. Excellent defense for Alpha Insurance. The double block works.
I'm sure that they have had Segi on their eyes, so he has been a marked man here for VNS. So the other players would definitely have to step up.
Alpha. Now they go to their money man in Nadera. And so the 2 guys that we spoke about prior to the start of their match, dun pumupunta tong 2 teams.
Last attack from Nadera. Just a lot of space to work for him in between the blocker and the antenna.
However, that serve a little too long for Casas.
Both teams giving away 1 point from the service line, but then, you have to be aggressive as well from the service line. Just give them a hard time with a pass.
How do you find that balance as we see a great connection on the side of Alpha? Abunawan was able to get that on a quick.
That was too quick for the blockers. Late reaction on the defenders from VNS.
Oh, how about the net defense from Alpha? Second time we've seen that, Ivy.
That's right. And they have been reading the attack of VNS very well. As we take a look at that block kill.
So Alpha Insurance getting off to a 5-2 start. They just fell a little bit short in their last match, making great work of that free ball. A blessing given to him, Sabanal, turning it into a point.
That's ready. 3 block points for Alpha. And we haven't even reached the first 8 points yet.
They're producing points so quick, and they unfortunately commit an error on that service.
So 2 points out of the 3 that VNS is enjoying right now is courtesy of the errors of Alpha.
And while you'll take those free points, at some point you also want to be in control of the points that you generate.
You would definitely want to produce your own and not wait for the errors to be committed by your opponent. But that was a good combination play, but that was a good save as well on the side of VNS.
Free ball given to Alpha. Lopez going to Sabanal. Good coverage of ball. Palitan yan for both teams. Kulabat tried to go off speed. They send it to the back. Segi lifts it up. Norsidig tried to go to the back and the defense wasn't ready.
First point out of the attack for VNS. Well, for VNS, definitely they would want to make sure that their middles are activated just to give more things to think about for the defenders of Alpha. Split the blockers if you can, because Alpha so far is showing very good net defense.
Balian with a good serve. The response for Alpha met by the defense. What an attack, but
was
it's
outside. But there's a challenge being asked by the players of VNS. I think they're quite sure that there was a block touch, or there was, I think. So Alpha, I think, admitted to that, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go. So immediately the point given to VNS, and just like that, it's only a 1-point lead now for Alpha Insurance. Balian will be serving. 5 serving 6. Lopez will go back to Nadera, and that's the reason why. So explosive, it's this young man.
That's right. Attack is so fast as well. And that is a gap that we were talking about. So they're leaving that down the line open. However, that's just too much space for Nadera to work with. So they probably might want to think about closing that one.
And if we're talking about young guys who will rise to stardom, well, note down the name Vince Nadera, because we're going to see a lot of that man for sure. First technical timeout.
Back inside the Rizal Memorial Coliseum of Manila here, Judd and Ivy right on cue. It's never a lost opportunity for Vincent Nadera, given his grueling loss against Savoj, because every game is still a learning curve to their young and fresh team. Having scored a crazy 26-point game, Dodon felt like he poured his all, and it's a performance he knows, when duplicated, can lead them to the top 4. As a former tapa raw, tapang daw ng FEU ang may dadala niya sa Alpha. If they can just carry Coach Mike's system with confidence, composure, and the heartfelt intention to have the end game to their good sets, then it is possible for them to stop the bleeding of their back-to-back losses. Can they continue to dominate set number 1? We'll find out soon enough. Back to the panel.
Thank you so much, Alexis. Well, certainly this man You called it right. The 26 points he scored was crazy because he's supposed to be one of the youngest players in this entire Spikers turf, and yet he stood up to his kuyas and said that, hey, I'm here to compete, and I can do what you guys do as well.
That's right. And he's showing a lot of maturity, actually, in this tournament. So that really says a lot, because more than the skills, that's also what you look for in the player.
Yun nga lang, we kept praising him, and then he committed a service error. But here now, they're trying to get that point back. Nursidik, you were talking about that net defense, Ivy.
Yeah, so 4 block points already for Alpha. This we can see is how well they are reading the attack patterns of VNS. They're very aggressive defending the net.
You know, lost in the sauce of the 26 points of Dodong Nadera in their previous game was the 17 of JM Javelona, a guy who just served earlier, and he's gotten a number of block points here as well. That was a point for Casey Kulabat. Off the block he went.
So he has been trying to go creative with his attacks because, again, you know, you can't just be not bothered by the net defense of Alpha.
Oh, and Segi was ready for Nadera that time.
Good read from Segi.
And I wish you all could see the game face that CJ Segi wore after getting that block.
Well, because why not? He blocked Nadera, and you know, these two players would definitely be seeing eye to eye here in this game.
And we're so excited for that matchup. Segi this time on the attacking end. Sabana tried to dump. Kulabat lifted it up. Nursidik off speed. Nadera was there to save it.
Oh, still alive. It's going to be a free ball.
Good rally. Can VNS send it? Yes, they can.
Good play from VNS. Again, these fast plays, those quick attacks, activating the middle could actually be an advantage here for VNS.
They've been fighting back. Naiiwan by a little bit, but then they would rally back and bridge the gap. They're just down by 1. Lopez rushing hard to save that, but Casas could not get it over. Now we're tied at 10. So coming out of that first technical timeout, it's a 5-2 run for VNS. Kulabat serving. Reception. Yeah. And Segi off the block, getting VNS their first taste of the lead. KC Kulabat, 11 serving 10. Lopez opting for the dump. They set up Nursidik again. One more time, that's out.
Oh, too much angle for Nursidik.
What has been impressive, Ivy, with this fight back we're seeing from VNS?
Well, you know, I think for VNS, they struggled a little bit at the start, but once they're able to get that good pass, they can also be creative with their plays. The combination attacks are something that could work well for them, given the good net defense of Alpha.
Mangolabnan has been going to Nursidik and Segi over and over again, and why not? If it's the formula that works. Segi one more time, off the block it goes.
And that's what's working now for VNS. They have been rejected by the net defense, by the block, and now they're using these hands to their advantage. So several points scored off the hands of the blockers for VNS.
For younger guys at this level, it's always so important to be able to adjust and read what the defense is giving you.
You got to learn how to play smart. That one goes outside.
This is a major run for VNS. 8-3 is how much they've outscored Alpha since coming out of that first technical timeout. And they get a break there as the service of Nur Siddiq sails out. Again, this is the 2025 Spikers Turf Open Conference. Jotsulit, Ivy Remulla, and Alexis Tinsay bringing the action from the Rizal Memorial Coliseum. VNS, Segi, off speed, lifted up. Lopez trying to save it. He does. Avelona, and the return by Balian is out. We're tied again at 13.
So VNS would just need to be careful about those errors.
What we're also noticing from Alpha is that they capitalize on every opportunity that's given to them.
Rarely would they bring a free ball. Oh, single block. That was well read.
Perfect positioning for Casas.
5 block points for Alpha.
And Casas has been right in the middle of that net defense we keep on praising. Mangolabnan goes to Segi. Avelona sent it over. They initiate the back row. Off speed doesn't work. Lopez trying to go quick. Defense was ready. It's VNS's turn as Segi is fired up.
Segi with his game face on. And again, there's probably a little pressure for both of these teams because they have not won a game so far. And winning today would be important for either of them because this would be one of their bigger chances, you know, to put a win in that with the winning column.
Absolutely, and if we're being completely blunt about it, they perhaps mark this day. Okay, we're going up against a fellow winless team. This might be the chance to get that first win.
That's right, and this will do a lot in terms of the confidence that you would have as a team. You know, both of these teams, like we mentioned earlier, they have the same loss record. They've lost both to 5 sets, one match in 5 sets, and the rest in 3 sets. So that splits them very, very little in terms of the points and ratio.
And we got a tight battle. And it only tells you how much pride these two teams are playing with dahil nga nag-aabot ng first win nila here in the Open Conference. Casas will be serving 15 apiece for both Alpha and VNS. Mangolabnan going back to Segi. A winning combination, giving the lead back to VNS, leading us into the second technical timeout of the first set. It's the Griffins up 16-15.
Buhay ay di karera po ba to? Karera po, karera. Sino ba nagsabi na kailangan kung maulit man ito? Karera. Okay naman.
Don't be fooled by Maru Takeda's name. You might think he's Japanese, but Pinoy na Pinoy din. Pati yung taste sa music, Bini ang pinapakinggan. You know, every time that they play these features in the arena, I look at the player that's na kumakanta. They don't laugh. They don't change their game face. They're locked in. And they know it's business on the court.
But it's good to see those videos, you know, parang sometimes you discover the other side of these players.
Yeah. And minsan, doon lang natin sila nakikitang wingit eh.
That's right.
Well, this one, lots of reasons to smile for Kulabat as they get the lead again.
Both teams, of course, keeping it close. So this is just a 1-point advantage for VNS.
Balian targeted Casas on that attack. Off the block goes Nadera. You were talking about creativity, Ivy, and Nadera certainly has it as well.
Right, the variations. And the thing is, he knows and he can read the defense. So that would be Nadera's 7th point. 4 attack points already for him.
26 points is an insane number. But what also was crazy is his success rate in his attacks. He mentioned 57%. I think we can say for sure he's built for a stage like this.
And it seems like, you know, he's enjoying his time on the court.
VNS, though, reclaiming the advantage. Lopez goes to a back
Oh,
set.
that was a good save by Espanso.
And they want a review. So, Coach Fritz Santos asking for a review on what he thought was a floor touch. As great as the effort was, feeling ni Coach Santos hindi umabot. You say from Espanso.
And at this point, I think with the way the score is going, of course, for Alpha, they would want to get as much points as they can. Try to break the momentum as well on the side of VNS. So was there a floor touch? So there was. The ball probably touched some part of the hands of Espanso, but majority of that, as we can see in the replay, touched the floor.
So a good challenge for Alpha Insurance because every point, as we've seen from this first set, every point matters in this match.
Well, we've expected a close match between these two teams, and this is exactly what we're getting here in the first set. So there was a touch, and the point is awarded to VNS.
Way to use that triple block and get around it to still get the point. 19-18. This first set is as close as it can get. Lopez to Casas. Oh, and VNS found a way to get it over.
Good recovery.
And they even get the point on a masterful net defense.
Look at the celebration of mga Lubnan after that block.
What a luxury when your setter can also defend the net like that.
And he is not actually the tallest player on the floor.
Definitely can still get up there. It's a 2-point lead for VNS. And that will be a free point on the error for Alpha. Alpha Insurance gets to within 1. Now serving is Raymond Sabanal, targeting Kulabat. Mangulabnan. So much power on that attack. Archer Codinera introducing himself. Arcilio will check in for Nursidik. In the early goings of this first set, it was really Alpha Insurance taking control. That momentum has shifted towards VNS.
That was good recovery on the side of VNS.
Lopez trying to go quick with Abudnyawan. It's Camposano. Back to them. And now they get a chance to set it up. They go to Camposano. And Edward secures that point.
The fast play does it for Alpha.
Now, Camposano, despite being young as most of the players in the league, siya na yung veterano dito sa Alpha. What kind of boost does it give you when you have even just one veteran like Edward?
Of course, the experience counts for a lot. You know, that's the thing about it, and more than just probably the skill. You know, the things that you learn in terms of attitude, yan yung mga talagang nadadala rin ng ating mga seniors.
And there was order immediately on the side of Alpha as soon as Camposano went in, but they couldn't control that attack. However, they do challenge it, ball in, ball out challenge. Our officials will take another look at that.
And we can see here the coaching staff of Alpha Insurance really keeping a close eye on everything.
They got so close to win in their previous match, and so you want to rally off of that momentum then and finally break through. But the other thing is that your opponents, VNS, also trying to do the same.
So that was in by a hair.
Oh, that's tough.
By the slightest.
Wow.
And that's just the beauty of the ball in, ball out thing. As long as it's even by the slightest bit, it touches the line. That's called in.
You know, I can't blame Alpha Insurance for challenging, but ang sakit ng talo dun sa challenge na yun.
But it's worth a try, though.
That is true.
Well, good coverage.
Camposano's able to keep it alive.
Oh,
And they're
still
able.
alive.
What effort there. Buhay pa rin.
Oh, I'm loving the defense we're seeing in this sequence.
Segi. It was the off-speed attack that got VNS the point.
That was very smart of Segi's wiping that tip in the hands of Nadera. It was actually just a one-on-one defense at the net, but I gotta love all the saves in that sequence. One-handed saves, all the diving.
How about Camposano loading that one up?
Actually, that ball was high enough to be saved, but none of the players of the VNS attempted to go after it. Mangulabnan, you will see him go after it, go after it.
Look at this.
This is that swipe from Segi.
Great exchange of points. However, a costly error at the service line for Alpha Insurance.
That's the fifth service error for Alpha Insurance.
And now set point for VNS. Camposano was targeted. In Adera, his attack not even close. That's going to be the end of the first set. Oh, they're going to challenge it on a block touch.
Nadera was quite confident that it touched the finger of the blocker. Well, that can change things if the challenge becomes successful.
A suspenseful end for sure here in the first set. The earlier challenge of Coach Fred Santos unsuccessful, but if this one turns out to be a good challenge, like Ivy said, could change the story of the first set. Here we go.
That seemed clear.
And so it's official that the first set belongs to VNS-Laticrete. Coming back from a slow start, they're able set. What were your observations from this one, Ivy?
Well, Alpha Insurance started off very strong, you know, and that 3 kill blocks right away to really set the tone of the game. But it was good because VNS wasn't phased about that excellent net defense of Alpha Insurance, and they managed to find a way how to counter that. So despite the good blocking of Alpha, VNS was able to use that to their advantage. A lot of off-the-block hits of VNS was able to score them the points, and of course, not to mention how much firepower Segi has also added into that first set. As we take a look at the numbers, 14 attack points for VNS, and the blocking has been spectacular actually for both teams, but Alpha has a more advantage in defending the net. They also had 2 service aces, but what actually made the difference here was the number of errors that Alpha Insurance gave out, and there are several errors that were committed towards the end of the first set, which was quite crucial as well for them. So these are things that Alpha Insurance would need to work on in the second set, given that they know how much VNS takes advantage, you know, of those errors that they're committing.
Well, keep a keen eye on those errors as you remind everyone that UAAP Season 87 Volleyball is live and exclusive here on Signal. Watch it all live on the UAAP Varsity channel, One Sports and Filipinas Live, because legends start here. Second set, strong start from VNS. It looks like ayaw nila maulit yung first set na medyo naghintay pa ng konti before they initiated themselves.
That's right. And I think probably VNS has gotten the feel already also of how Alpha Insurance works around their attacks and their defense.
But the attacks of Camposano have been way too much for the VNS defense to handle.
For Alpha Insurance.
Already a decorated player, having played previously for other teams. Here in the Spiker's turf, but that's also his second service error. You were talking about errors that Alpha Insurance gave up in the first set.
So that actually helped, you know, VNS in terms of inching closer to the score. Well, that was a good angle by Nadera. That was very sharp.
I like the sportsmanship we're seeing from both teams here. They're helping the referees call the ins and outs. Mangolabdan was telling our lead referee that, okay, that was in, that was in. This time, Mangolabdan initiating Cordillera, who goes down the line.
Excellent attack. Again, managing to squeeze that in with that very tight blocking.
And just nonchalant.
Just nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's just another day at work. Nothing unusual.
He's practically asking us, oh, was that impressive to you guys? Because it's just, wala lang sa akin. However, his service, little too long, giving up a point. Nadera will now find himself at the service line for Alpha Insurance Protectors. Look at the lift that Nadera gets every time he jumps, even on a serve. But fantastic play for Kulabat.
And I think we also have to give credit to Mangulabnan because that was also a difficult set. Oh, he's holding on to his back. He had to twist a lot. It was the first ball was very near the net.
I think, you know, we've been hyping Segi a lot for the right reasons, right? But Kulabat also deserves some recognition with what has been shown here in this match.
And Kulabat has been very creative. He's got tips, he's done the power hits, he's been hitting off the hands of the blocker. So, you know, if you were defending him, you'd really be guessing, and you have to read very well what he's going to do.
I wonder if the hair clips
sort of had the power, yes.
And also give us an idea on sino yung idol niya, di ba?
Parang hindi na mahalata.
Lots of reasons to smile for Casey Kulabat. VNS again getting the advantage. Look at that. Nagawa na lang ng paraan. The target of Ilona, Camposano. It's Nadera from the back. Goes right back to him. And speaking of creativity, Sabanal.
Again, it's a matter of looking at the vacant spaces in the defense of your opponent. So there has been exchanges of tips there.
Mangulabnan tried to do the dump, but miscommunication on the side of the Alpha protectors.
Just never keep your eyes off the ball.
Smart move there for Jan Mangulabnan. Served it up. Camposano off the block. Edward Camposano, whenever he touches that ball, he shows that he is one of the most experienced players on the court. Now serving is JM Apolinario. Mangulabnan going to Segi again. Lifted up by Alpha. Espanso. Tried to go to Codinera. Camposano bounced off of his head again.
Excellent block on the side of VNS. Just quite unlucky for Camposano. He was not able to dodge right away. Let's just state the thing also if he jumped very high.
His approach was actually correct. Sabi mo nga, may lumalas rin lang. A nice quick connection for Alpha. Anima getting the point. Like the first set, the second set is extremely close as well. Camposano went for an off-speed serve. It worked perfectly as they reclaim the lead and they lead us into our first technical timeout of the second set. Alpha up 8-7 over VNS.
Back inside the Rizal Memorial Coliseum for the Spiker Surf Open Conference. Judd and Ivy, it's all about having a good performance under high pressures for the VNS Griffins. Their 2-week gelling may be the apprehension hindering them to unleash their full potential. But for Casey Colabat, this match will serve as an alarm clock following their 3 wake-up call matches. As more than half of the Griffins are still in high school, maturity and persistence will play a key role in overcoming self-doubt for the youngsters. And for Mangulabnan, their focus and willingness to learn from their kuyas and their opponents as well will be a humbling key to get stronger as the tournament progresses. Can they continue to dominate here with a neck-and-neck battle with the Alphas? We'll be back here in set number 2. Back to the panel.
Imagine being in high school and hoping that you make a career out of volleyball. And being given the chance to go up against national team members or even players who are recruited to play internationally, professionally. That's the opportunity that's given to these young players by playing here in the Spiker Surf.
That's right, and of course the experience really. I don't think that you can replace that with anything else. The growth that you would have in playing in this kind of tournament, just like that last attack by Nadera. Those are things that you can learn and you can do here in the Spiker Surf.
Let's take a moment to pause for how high Vince Nadera got. Up in the sky.
It's a good thing we have a high ceiling here
I know.
in our venue today.
He would have had to bend his neck a little too much kung mababa yung ceiling. Oh,
I think that was a good ball, but the call, it was called by the referee. So I think they would be challenging that. So it happened in front of Coach Mike. So I think he had a very good view if that was good or not.
he was super surprised, no, and the play was stopped. And they're pretty confident about this challenge. Let's see if it does go their way. Easy challenge to make.
So point will be replayed. It's a little joking going on the side of Alpha Insurance.
No one's more happy about that challenge than Billy Anima. They target Segi on that serve, but Kulabat has been a problem.
And the reaction after that hit.
Watch out for it. Look at Kulabat. Okay.
The confidence after that hit. So this is what's also good about watching it, especially if you watch it live. You know, you can really see all the animated reactions, the banters.
As much as we and our production team want to bring you, and we strive to bring you every bit of happening inside the Rizal Memorial Coliseum, there are just some bits and pieces that you only get to see if you watch live.
That's
and so
right.
we invite you to catch the Spikers turf. We'll be playing here. There are some games at the Phil Oil Oil Center, in Ares Sports Arena. Right now, we got a tied game here in the second set. Avelona, double block was there, and he uses it to score.
Exchange of points continue. Alpha Insurance now up by 1.
It looks like now Alpha Insurance also, Ivy, switching it up every now and then. Earlier, they got a little bit predictable, repeatedly going to Dodong Nadera, pero ang dami na nagsi-step up around him, and Nadera obviously still in the mix.
But that's what you really need here. It cannot be always Nadera, because once the opponent figures out how to defend Nadera, then it's going to be difficult now for Alpha Insurance to score in the points. So this is good that, you know, there are other players stepping up as well.
Nadera got an ace, but then made a service error. So service goes back to VNS. It's going to be Kulabat at the line. 5 attack points for Casey Kulabat. Havelona. Defense was there. Mangolabnan. This time will go to Segi off the block. Super excited to see how far CJ Segi and Vince Nadera will get in their careers, because as early as now, not only flashes, but really stretches of brilliance. Avelona, double block was there, slowed his attack down. Mangolabnan going back to Segi, return to their side. And miscalculation on that set results in an error.
Let's take a look at that last sequence. Mangolabnan tried to do that fake set, but I think he was also able to fake his teammates with the timing.
Mangolabnan to Segi, a combination that has worked well. So,
oh, the ball's still alive. It is good. Touch the net, but that was sent outside.
actually, half of the Alpha Protectors thought the play was done. Good try to keep it alive, but eventually a point going back to VNS. So kanina, lumamang ng dalawa yung Alpha Insurance, but game tied again. Camposano going cross-court. And the referees will talk it over. They award the point to Alpha Insurance.
So I think the ball landed on the floor before the net violation happened. So that's at least the reason for the call of the referees, but it will be challenged by VNS.
Yeah, clearly there was a touch on the net. Yung back of Edward Camposano
Yes.
touched it. But patay na ba yung bola when it happened? That is going to be the question in this challenge. And we're going to get to see a little bit of it.
So again, a lot of challenges happening in this match because that's how important it is, you know, to get ahead of your opponent. So any point that you can get, any point that you can put on your team, and it's something that these two teams realize the importance of. So there was a net fault, but so I think Alpha Insurance wanted to question is whether the ball has landed on the floor already.
And so, Coach Mike, initially, I think Coach Mike thought the challenge went their way. And then he realized that the point was given to VNS. And yun nga yung sinasabi niya, napatay na raw yung bola nung tumama yung likod ni Edward Camposano on the net.
That's right.
Challenge ko para pakita natin yung buo. Ha? Okay? Ha?
But the challenge only reviewed the net violation. But again, the call of the referee initially was because the ball has already hit the floor before the net violation occurred. So this would be another review, I think.
They're going to take a look at it now. The power of technology.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, I get that some would say, di ba yung stand nila is, okay, bumabagal yung laro. But then, now you get to make the calls better.
Yeah.
Or parang mas...
More accurate.
Exactly,
It's more
exactly.
accurate. So, you know, because everything happens just so fast here in volleyball, and especially, you know, you have very good players that in the blink, you can't blink if you're watching them. That's how fast things happen. So you really need this kinds of technology to be able to see and make the correct calls. And you know, minsan these things happen simultaneously. You know, you're looking at the ball, but then there's other movements going on inside the court.
That's right. And now also, part of that technology, syempre meron tayong IRS system or instant replay system, but also the many different angles that they can look at sequences and plays and review what happened here and there. And it's taking some time, you know, and only a testament to how our technical staff and our referees really want to get the correct call on this one, as it is, as we've tried to emphasize over and over again, a very important match for both Alpha Insurance and VNS-Laticrete.
They could probably think of it as like a championship match for them, you know, because again, although this is just part of the initial stage, we're still in the preliminary round, but for these two teams, getting one win is very important. And, you know, it's more of like the boost or the confidence it can give to the team. And obviously, you don't want to end up being at the bottom.
And don't mistake us calling this a championship game or that important as us, you know, making fun of their winless records. Because we're saying this because sometimes teams only need to get that one win to really boost their confidence and realize, okay, we can compete at this level. And sometimes it propels them to an incredible run.
That's right. And then you have to remember, you know, these two teams, like, especially for Alpha Insurance, it's a new team, you know, so it really might take some time for them to really gel together, get into the momentum, and try to, you know, find that system. So these are things that, you know, that one win can be something that's very important, you know, for a very new team.
Well, Alexis earlier mentioned to us that not only are these teams relatively new, but for VNS, their current roster, they have high school players. Ivy, how important is it really for young volleyball players to be exposed to high-level competition at so early?
Well, you know, the advantage of that is that it can really, that helps the player to have level up their game because they're exposed to more complicated situations. They're exposed to more aggressive or more technical players. So you really learn a lot from the techniques of your opponents as well. So not just within the system of your own team.
So it looks like, if we're seeing this and reading this correctly, what we're seeing on the screens, it's suggesting that the net fault was committed bago bumagsak yung bola on the floor. Well, we'll leave it to our referees to make the announcement, but that's what it's looking like.
Well, this is going to be interesting. So again, we're just fighting with, we're fighting for 1 point only, but this 1 point can be very important and can turn things around for either of these teams.
And I hope you guys watching on whatever it is you're watching from can appreciate how much, we try to let you into the action and the coverage. That what you saw earlier is usually reserved for the production team. But we let you in on a little bit of the trade secrets.
So the ball has landed, and so the point goes to VNS.
And after all of that, it's finally settled. Net fault committed before the ball was killed and bounced.
So it could be just a matter of a fraction of a second for when the net was touched and the ball landed on the floor. But either way, the point is awarded to VNS. So anything what Alpha needs to do right now is just recover from that point. So they have to get this point back.
15 serving 13, or 13 serving 15 rather. Nursidik will be putting the ball in play. Sabanal met by the defense. Allow me to correct myself. It was 15 serving 13. And now we head into the second technical timeout of set.
During my college day sa FEU, laging sinasabi ng head coach namin na si Coach Ed, cherish every moment in your life. Kasi di natin alam, di ba? Ngayon lang tayo magkakasama. Kaya every time na magkakasama tayo, team tayo, go with the flow and then laban lang lagi sa buhay. Kasi di natin alam, di ba?
Get your daily dose of sports updates on Starting Lineup, Mondays to Fridays, 6:30 p.m. live on Filipinas Live app and on One News. Also available on One Sports and One Sports Plus. (16-13) is our score in a game that cannot get any closer.
Well, we expected as much. See that both of these teams right now seem to be an equal level in terms of skills. So both are newly formed teams, very young teams.
Some things had to be sorted out before we resumed action. And everything's good now. Nursidik will be back at the service area. Sabanal. That was met by the defense of Kulabat. Off speed again. And CJ Segi, my goodness, he has shown us a little bit of everything here in this match.
So that's, the volleyball IQ is something we need to talk about here because it doesn't always have to be the strong hits. And that's what we are seeing in the young players of VNS, the variation that they have.
When he scored 11 points against the Signal HD Spikers, it was all on attacks. But here today, we've also seen a couple of block points from him. They're helping out in many different ways. Now it's Raymond Sabanal with that service. And Segi again.
That was a very quick and fast hit from Segi. Alpha Insurance not even able to get in the proper position. Block was still not in the proper position as well. The floor defense very loose. Overreaching violation.
When we say that CJ Segi does a lot, maybe did a little too
much.
much that time.
Very over-eager.
JM Apolinario putting the ball in play. And, well, understandably, they target Segi, but still Segi was able to get that ball back. Met by the defense. And the block point taken by Camposano.
So a lot of challenges happening here in this match.
They're going to take a look at that. If off the block, that ball was in or out. Sobrang dikit kasi nung score, no? And with a challenge, sometimes, or multiple times, we've seen it here in this set alone. A challenge dictates who gets the lead. That's how important this game is. Both teams coming into this matchup with identical 0-3 records, hoping that this is the game they get to break through.
And well, so far both teams you can see are giving it their all. Very good sequences, a lot of good exchanges actually that we've seen since set number 1, and a lot of excellent defense both at the net and at the floor. But at the moment, you know, here in the second set, it is VNS who has a clear advantage in terms of defense. So a lot of their attacks have been converted into points. So Alpha Insurance not able to keep the ball alive on their side of the court.
Lots of breaks in this set because of the challenges, you know, and well, I guess no team has really full control of momentum anyway, so it's hard to say if it's a disadvantage to either team. I guess whoever loses the challenge.
So this is the replay.
Oh! If we're seeing that correctly and we're seeing the same thing that our officials are seeing, there's a chance the call might be overturned.
But a different angle, though, might
Exactly.
make things differently.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at it from a different angle, looking at it from the line, so that might reveal something else. But
so the challenge
decision
was deemed successful.
All right.
Great use of that challenge.
So we're just waiting for the referee to acknowledge the decision or the result of the challenge. I think the first referee is still trying to clarify the call or the review.
Almost ready to make that call. And if so, if this indeed becomes a successful challenge officially, that's the second successful challenge that VNS has made here in the second set. The first one was that challenge on a net fall by Camposano that led to that relatively long review. Ah, so tense, so suspenseful is this
suspense,
match.
really. So, you know, imagine if this happened in a situation where it's
Kasi hindi
either a
makita
match
dun sa
point
dalawang camera.
or
Kaya pinakita
a
dun
very
sa taas.
crucial
Lalo sa
point,
black
and then
ends,
you
up to,
keep
pababa.
the suspense this
Nakita,
long.
dun sa- meron eh.
It's going to be difficult for the
Meron.
players.
Yeah.
But, you know, loss like this can
Sila
also
na
be
ganun.
challenging
Meron.
for
So,
the
yun ang
players
mayayanan
on the
natin,
court
so
because
inside,
you're losing, you're losing your momentum.
Okay na.
You can get quite cold.
This is where it's tough because
Ano?
the feet of Segi were blocking.
So there's really no way to tell
Wala
from
ko
this
yan. Dapat
angle.
ipakita nyo yung pinakamalinaw. Hindi tayo pwede dyan.
That's why they were
Pag
checking
desisyonan
a
ng
different
kanina, pakita nyo
angle.
yung
Usually dun sa angle na yun, you'll easily be able to tell it.
That's the right angle actually to look at it. Because if we're talking about the ball touching the line even by the slightest margin, you know, like even by a hair, a millimeter.
Look at that. You see a little bit of that blue surface, right? Or aqua surface between the ball and the line. Oh, so tough. So tough to be a referee.
Because again, you know, to make this call, you have to make it a decision right now because it's going to be based on the review, but the review
Sino ba pumalo?
of course, for Alpha Insurance, they would want to look at it from a different angle.
Absolutely.
Definitely, because
So,
there could
ball
be a
out tayo.
chance that
Okay.
looking at it from the opposite
Sige, sige.
view, you know, on the other direction, it could go their way. But the decision of the referee is that it's outside. So frustration on the side
Yeah.
of Coach Mike, because he felt that probably that could have gone their way.
And you know what? For a young team like Alpha also, this could be a test of your composure as well.
Yes.
You've already had 2 breaks that you felt should have gone your way but went otherwise. Sometimes yung mga ganyang breaks disrupt your focus. They
Yes.
get in the way of you playing your game.
That's right. So it can get a bit too emotional as well. Di ba yung mauuna yung frustration at inis mo kasi dapat amin yun eh. So that was quite unfair. Minsan may mga ganun tayong thoughts eh. But again, yeah, that's true because, you know, that would be a test of character now and how you will not let that affect your game or your play. So we'll see how Alpha Insurance reacts.
That was the call from Coach Mike to his players. Okay, next play tayo, balik tayo. And they do get back in form immediately with Vince Nadera using the block of Kulaba to score.
Smart play and attack there by Nadera. The set was a bit too tight, but still he managed to convert that into a point.
Mangulabnan goes to Kulabat off speed.
Oh, and
Net touch.
violation errors. So these are going to be costly errors on the side of Alpha Insurance.
Lost control there as they tried to go for that double block. Four-point lead for VNS. They also won the first set, looking to go up 2-0. Service error committed. JJ Arcilio, unfortunately, wasn't able to get that over.
Well, at this point, VNS can still afford that service error. They are still up by 3. So the substitution on the side of Alpha Insurance. Now, this is going to be the important serve that must go in.
Romelito Baptista checking in for the first time. Mangolabnan, back set. Codinera could not convert. Credit the defense of Alpha. Ito yung nakita natin sa kanila Ivy at the start of the first set.
So that is actually what made it difficult for VNS, yung kanilang blocking.
Baptista again. This time it's Kulabat. Again met by the defense.
Back-to-back block points for Alpha Insurance. So that has been the strength of Alpha Insurance here in this match. Take a look at that once again. It's Nadera was able to have that skill block.
Who do they go to? Segi When all is lost, VNS can go back to CJ Segi and trust that he will fight.
And he can do that at the back or the front of the court. It doesn't matter. Good pipe hit.
What a talented young man. Archer Codinera also contributing 3 attack points, but commits a service error, possibly a costly one. He allows Alpha Insurance to get back to within 1.
Two-man substitution now for Alpha Insurance. So this will keep the front line full for Alpha Insurance.
21-20, VNS over Alpha Insurance. Jerome Lopez will be serving. Mangulabnan with a dump attempt. Received off speed. Works for Caholo, who just checked in and made immediate impact.
So this is a well-read defense from that dump by Vince Mangulabnan. And this is that power tip that ties the match at 21.
Lopez targets Kulabat on the runner. Nursidik sent back by Javelona. Double block. The wall.
Look at the save. Excellent save from VNS.
And guess who that was with the save? It was Segi, but hindi na nila na-control yung atake ni Sabanal rather.
But I love that sequence. That was excellent save on the part of VNS and good comeback on the side of Alpha Insurance.
And what action we're seeing.
Nakasara dito eh. Ilan yung bola oh, sinayang niyo yung bola. Single block, discarded tayo, play smart. Nagtapon tayo ng puntos, so opensa sana natin. Go tayo. Isa lang. Push! Tumaya.
John Mangulabnan leading the way as the playmaker of VNS. He has done a good job, Ivy, in just capitalizing on the many options he has on their
That's
side.
right. So he has been distributing the ball quite well. And I think that goes to show with the scores, with the points that the players have had already.
Here he is again, this time going to Nursidik. Iyan yung sinasabi natin, he gets to vary his options every now and then.
Well, the middles of VNS has been a bit quiet for some time. So this is a good play coming from that timeout.
Yeah, you're right about that because Nursidik made a lot of noise back in the first set, pero nung second parang tahimik. Lopez goes to Caholo. And defense says, back to you.
Excellent block from VNS. Let's take a look at that once again. It was Nursidik was able to let that ball bounce back.
And again, a timeout is requested as VNS takes the lead.
Mare, running short si si Ray. Yun si dito. Si JJ dito, ha? Pasa muna tayo na maayos, ha? Di ba tapos? Alam mo lang na isa yan. Ha?
Wala pang lasa, wala mo pa lang yun. Kukain natin.
A timeout to pretty much just get everyone back on the same page.
And break the momentum of VNS as well.
And also understand na isang nga lang naman, yun lamang. And set 2 is still very much winnable for Alpha Insurance. Kulabat will be at the service line. Has done so much in this game for VNS. Javelona goes cross court, that's it!
And just nips the line, and we are tied 23 all.
JM Javelona had 17 points in their loss against Savoj. Is also coming to life. Mangulabnan to Nursidik. Slowed down by the defense. Sabanal, Nursidik again off the touch of Kaholo. Set point for VNS.
Amazing recovery there from a VNS. The aggressiveness of Nursidik at the front or at the net paid off.
Nursidik with a serve. Lifted up. Camposano could not get that over. And VNS finds a way to go up 2-0. There's going to be a challenge, though. A challenge on a net fault given by Alpha Insurance. Hoping that something can turn the tide of that final play. It's actually smart use of a challenge.
Yeah.
Diba?
Well, you still have one anyway, so there's really nothing to lose.
You can't carry that over kasi naman to the next set.
Yes.
So might as well, if you can save that point and give your team a fighting chance, might as well. By this time, expert na yung technical team natin in their reviews.
Yes. There's been a lot of challenges that has happened in this game. So let's take a look at the review. Was there a net touch?
It's also tough to say, but the ruling is no. There was no fault. And so the second set ends, and it belongs to VNS. They're one set away from claiming their first victory here in the 2025Alpha Insurance Protectors. Set 2 was a pretty long set with the challenges, and it was very tightly contested.
That's right, a lot of anticlimactic situations that happened in the second set. But that just goes to show, you know, how much these two teams are really trying to fight for every single point that they can get. And not only with those challenges, but we've seen a lot of sequences as well, a lot of good exchanges, a lot of good saves. And that's how important, that's how much value these two teams are putting into this match. And a lot of good defense, especially at the net.
Yeah.
So that was really something that was commendable, you know, for both of these teams. You know, although Alpha Insurance has had a lot of those block points for their team. As we take a look at the numbers, so this is what I'm talking about. The block points in set number 2 was really exceptional. So what VNS had just one more than that for Alpha, but Alpha pretty much, we can say, has been consistent with the blocking. They had 5 block points in set number 1, and both teams still managing to minimize the errors. So this time around, Alpha Insurance just one less than what they had in the first set. But and also what they did better was that they committed less errors at the service line, but that was a different story for VNS in the second set. 4 out of that 7 errors were from the service line.
Just a couple of breaks, to be honest, just going VNS's way and allowing them to take that second set. Arena Plus, Astigsa Sports. And again, we're still inviting you. We got at least one more set of this match, plus a full match coming up after this one. And so if you can still make your way here to the Rizal Memorial Coliseum and you want to catch some volleyball action live, come on over. Later at 6 p.m. is the Crisscross King Crunchers versus the Savoj Spin Doctors. Another match that will be very exciting for sure. Well, if not, you can't make your way. Well, we're happy to have you on board on this coverage. Jotsulit, Ivy Remulla, and Alexis Tinsay bringing you the action as VNS will be first to serve John Mangulabnan, who has been the lead facilitator of his team. Apolinario going to Anima on that quick, fantastic connection.
Good start for Alpha Insurance. So Anima now has 3 points. So Nadera is still the lone double-digit scorer for Alpha Insurance. Segi, on the other hand, has also the lone double-digit scorer. So it's 11 points for Nadera, 14 for Segi.
Well, Nima is starting to make loud noise at the beginning of this third set.
Again, the blocking of Alpha Insurance has been exceptional here for this match.
Nadera with that serve. Segi off the block. So many different ways that CJ Segi is able to hurt the defense of Alpha Insurance. And even the offense. We spoke about Segi's net defense as well. Apolinario will go to Anima again. Espanzo had no chance with that position he was in.
Anima apologizes to Espanzo rather. Oh, an excellent hit by Anima, just really towering over the blocker.
Mangulabnan going to Balian. Camposano. It's Kulabat once again. There was a double block. He used it to score.
Kulabat has been using the hands of the blockers quite a lot, and he has been scoring from that as well. So that is his 7th point, if I'm not mistaken.
And I really feel like yung impact and contributions of Casey Kulabat to this team sometimes get underappreciated with how loud CJ Segi scores. But Kulabat has been a very steady contributor. There, Kulabat goes again. Free ball, VNS. They go to Codinera. It's deemed out, however.
So this would be a challenge now for VNS. Ball in, ball out challenge.
They're going to take a look at that, and powerful hit for sure for Codinera. Take a look at it one more time. Oh.
It was in, definitely in.
Very clearly, too.
So VNS has been calling a lot of good challenges. So the
Actually.
success rate of their challenge today is very good.
You know what? You know how we show the stats at the end of every set? So we show attacks, blocks, service, errors. We should probably put challenges too. Because it's also a source of points, right?
That's right. So and that one goes credit to the coaches. Yes. So the coaches would have their own statistics as well.
I mean, look at the second set, Ivy. The score was 25-23. There were 2 successful challenges for VNS in that set. And that could have easily gone to Alpha if they didn't decide to challenge those. here we are with our crazy ideas, right?
Or who knows, it might be added.
Nursidic overcooks that one, and that will be a point for Alpha Insurance.
So is he okay?
Now there's a slippery spot, and you know, in the first game of today's triple header, we saw Leo of Navy actually sprain his ankle and no longer return to the game. So we hope that we don't see any more players get hurt. No matter the team, no matter which player it is,
Right.
it's always tough to see someone get hurt. Apolinario, one hand set. Nursidic was ready. They go this time to Camposano, and that hit the antenna. So far, VNS has been able to capitalize with the momentum of this game.
Yeah, the errors would really matter a lot here, particularly for Alpha Insurance, because at the moment, they are playing catch-up. They're down in by 2 sets.
Service error, though, for Codinera. Apolinario with 5 excellent sets. Good reception for VNS, and when they receive it well, they're able to attack well.
Of course, a good first ball would mean more options for John Magulabnan. He can maximize almost everybody inside the court.
Kulabat with the serve. Sent to Camposano. Edward was still the one they set up. Then you see the reason why.
And he made up for the previous error he had when he hit the antenna. Good, powerful cross-court hit.
Pag maganda pagkakaset up dito kay Edward Camposano,
Yeah.
it's almost already a kill ball.
That's right.
That one was too strong as Nadera tried to get it over the double block.
But he could have probably just used the hands of the blocker instead. So that might have given them more opportunity.
I also feel, Ivy, like VNS was able to get the 2-set advantage because they've been able to sort of neutralize Nadera.
That's right.
Alpha Insurance gets a point here, though. Apolinario going to Javelona, who was the second leading scorer in their game against Savoj. 17 points for JM in that game. Segi uses the block. So confident is this man when he decides to go in and attack. 8-7. VNS ahead. First technical timeout of set 3.
Here in Manila for more exciting volleyball action here in the Spiker Surf Open Conference. I believe, Judd and Ivy, that both teams think that opposite sides of the court, they actually have chemistry that still needs to be built progressively day by day. It's a bit of an advantage for Camposano dahil magkakasama sila nila Lopez, Takeda at Apolinario sa the Navigators last conference. So despite being new to the Alpha, their core system was only redeveloped. On the other side, CJ Sagi said that it's an advantage too for VNS because of the eagerness of his teammates to step up against veterans with a nothing to lose and everything to gain mindset. This leads them to be fearless on the court. Now let's see who will rule the match here. Will it be VNS all the way, or will the Alphas halt them in every effort? Back to the panel.
Thank you so much, Alexis. Well, the thing about, Alexis did mention some guys like Edward magkakasama before in the team. Yung hindi kayo anim na may chemistry on the court, it's difficult. It needs to be solid chemistry between 6 players on the court because you're occupying the same space.
Right.
And there's a lot of the details really in team play in volleyball.
And usually that's the challenge for rebuilding teams. You know, when you add on new players, when you've lost some of your key players. So it has always been a challenge for our coaching staff. So it's how the players respond to that challenge. Yun
Yeah.
yung magiging importante.
Absolutely. Well, Alpha Insurance gets the point on a touch ball. Avelona. It's Kulabat. There was a double block. Sumalubong sa kanya. Camposano found the space he needed to get the score.
Is able to work with even the slightest of space that can be given to him.
And it's Alpha back ahead. 10-9. Lifted up by Avelona. It's Camposano again. Cross-court kill.
Another excellent kill. The set is really low and fast. Look at that angle. There's 2 blockers in front of him, but still manages to squeeze that through.
And that was a missile that VNS had very little chance of lifting up. Mangulabnan goes to Balian.
Oh, good coverage.
Free ball given up. Apolinario will go back to Camposano, and why not?
Again, he's really working the angles. And the variation of his cross-court hit. This is a sharper one. Let's take a look at that. He's managed to read the blocks. He sees the hands of the blockers, and he finds that open area where he can hit the ball.
And mishit on the side of VNS. An attack error that will cost them. Howard Guerra could not control it.
It's a 5-point run here for Alpha Insurance.
And that is out. That ends their run on a service error. Alpha Insurance thought about challenging that call actually, but they eventually opted not to. Balian with the service error. That is going to cost VNS.
So momentum slipping away on the side of VNS. They're playing a bit more scrappier than they did.
Raiden Balian did not play the entire game against Signal, but now getting the nod. Kulabat once again. The defense was there, and Kulabat says, I don't care. Look at Casey Kulabat. Figure out a way to defuse the defense. Howard Guerra, 11 serving 14. Oh, short as well. That's back-to-back service errors for VNS.
So those service errors will definitely cost them a lot. Total of 9 service errors in the game already for VNS.
And now serving for Alpha Insurance is Jem Apolinario. Kulabat. Again, just finding the angles necessary to get the point. Kulabat has to be the unsung hero of VNS in this match.
And he doesn't play very flashy, but he gets the points in for a VNS.
And hindi kasi siya yung paulit-ulit pupuntahan. Pero pag pinuntahan, porsyento
That's right.
mataas.
That's right. And also, very seldom that you would see mga baon na palo kay Kenneth Kulabat. But again, he plays smart. He's not the tallest. He knows how to use the hands of the blockers. He knows how to use the angles. And we've seen him also with those tips that has scored the points for VNS.
But they have to find a solution for Camposano, who has been on a tear here in set 3. We reach the second technical timeout. It's Alpha Insurance ahead this time, 16-13.
confirm. Ayaw mo ba sa'kin porque wala akong skirt? O ayaw mo sa'kin kasi ikaw mas older?
Alam mo ba, girl? Hef Abby? Ayaw nakitang pakawala. Lahat ng hilang ko sa'yo natagpuan. Baby, sana din kabila. O kung alam mo lang.
UAAP Season 87 Volleyball is live and exclusive here on Signal. Watch it all live on the UAAP Varsity Channel 1 Sports and Filipinas Live, because legends start here. And make sure that you also get to catch the Spikers Turf 2025 Open Conference. Thank you for tuning in and joining us. Jot Sulit, Ivy Remulla, and Alexis Tinsay. For some reason, nag-hesitate yung Alpha Insurance, and it cost them that point.
Let's take a look at that sequence once again. Miscommunication there between the middle blocker and the setter.
Rashner Siddiq. It's Avelona. Unlocking a new option there was JM Apolinario. Set it up perfectly for Avelona. Mangolabnan goes to the back. Ooh, short lang yung palo doon ni Codinera.
So errors now may being a problem on the side of VNS. They've been committing errors at the service line. They've also been committing errors in their attacks.
VNS goes back to Segi, and the block was there. We've been talking heavily about that collision between Segi and Nadera. Another sight at it as this forces VNS to call for time.
Hindi pwedeng sunod-sunod. O, umilalim ka sa bola, hindi pwedeng error kasi pag error square ng kalaban, pwedeng mahaba. Di ba mahirap dumiskarte kung ang atake lang sa atin open eh. Mahirap dumiskarte ng ganyan. Kayang habulin niya na, 5 puntos lang yan. Magandang pasa lang, tas buo tayo. Sagay natin.
We hear it all the time, the emphasis, Ivy, on that first ball, on that first pass.
So that's how important the first pass is, because a good first ball can give you multitudes of options. You know, if you really have a very good setter that can get creative with his plays, and that's only possible really with a good first ball, so more options.
Just like that. They got control of that receive, and the rest followed. A conversion for VNS.
And that good pass leads to more options and being able to activate your middle as well.
And that was what was asked for from the VNS side, to, shift up, vary their points of attack. However, they also have to cover the net, because the success rate of the attacks of Alpha has gone up here in this set.
Two-man substitution for Alpha Insurance. So again, this keeps the front line of Alpha Insurance full. Substitution as well on the side of VNS.
Jerome Lopez will be at the service area, 20 serving 15. Mangolabnan to Segi. The right decision. He is simply that guy who calms everyone down. Don't worry, I'm here. He tells his team. But there's something about the aggressiveness of Alpha in this set, Ivy, something we did not really see in the first two sets.
That's right, and that's what changes things for them here in this set. I mean, it's VNS has been doing what they've been doing since set 1 and 2. It's just that Alpha Insurance has stepped up a little bit more here in this set.
CJ Segi refused to lose. That's his banter right now, as he's trying to single-handedly lift VNS here in the third set. Pero tulad nung sabi natin again and again, they need stops too. Camposano was met. Cajolo
was blocked as well. Second try, and he does it with a tip.
How do you adjust when you're sent back the first try? Cajolo shows us how.
And this is also good, you know, because you're given another chance to redeem yourself after the unsuccessful attempt. And you make the most out of that chance given to you. So a substitution now for Alpha Insurance as Baptista comes in for the serve.
The service specialist for Alpha Insurance. They're 3 points away from getting a first set here, as VNS took the first two. Segi short on his attack, wanting that set to be a little bit higher. Timeout VNS.
Daming error kaya ang hirap kumabol eh. Yung dalawa, ito ang pinaka-chance lang natin talaga maglaro ng malinis. Dikit lang yung score. Laro malinis lang tayo. Go tayo, tara.
Pasahan nyo lang po tayo momento para sa next game.
The errors, Ivy, yun ang gustong malinis ni Coach Ralph Ocampo.
What's good about that timeout is that there's really not much of pressure being placed on it. You know, we have to win this because we're already up by 2. Isang set na lang ang kailangan natin. So, it's those careful reminders lang na idikit muna natin. And that's what's important for them right now.
Kulabat. Triple block was there. Kulabat.
Oh, that
met
was a
again.
good save. Good cover from Casey Kulabat. Covering your own attack.
Free ball, however, and VNS could no longer get to that set point for Alpha Insurance.
Off speed from Camposano. He has already 6 points here in this set.
Errors keeping VNS alive here. It's a tall mountain to climb, but they're going to try anyway. Codinera at the line will put the ball in play. First set point protected by VNS. Camposano, the defense is there. Cajolo, andun si Kulabat.
Single block, Casey Kulabat.
And that's 2 set points saved by VNS. Tough as it is, there's 5 more to go if they want to end it here. But they had done enough to get some insurance, get some cushion in this match. Camposano puts an end to it. Edward Scissorhands slicing the defense of VNS. Ooh, he was adamant on ending this and getting Alpha Insurance on the board. They do so, and we are heading into a fourth set. Alpha Insurance takes the third, 25-19. Back inside the Rizal Memorial Coliseum, where Alpha Insurance refuses to go down in straight sets. They lost the first two, but they were able to get the third one as we take a look at some highlights from set 3.
Well, Alpha Insurance always starts off strong, but VNS in the first two sets, they just managed to keep hold of the momentum of the game, especially during the last stretch. So what we mentioned earlier is that VNS actually didn't do anything, did not play out of their own system in the third set. It's just that Alpha Insurance actually stepped up their game a bit more than they did in the first and second set. So they have been pretty consistent in a lot of different areas, and namely the blocking. So that has been one of the strengths of Alpha Insurance here in this match. However, VNS was also finding solutions to that strong block, scoring points from the hands of the blockers. And these are the numbers for set number 3. 16 attack points now for Alpha. It's a good conversion for Alpha Insurance this time around in their attempts. They have been consistent with the blocking, as we have mentioned. 2 block points for set number 3. And both teams pretty much keeping it simple as well, keeping it consistent rather with the errors. So 7 free points given away by both teams. So those are actually numbers that they may want to take into account. They have to minimize that just to make sure that they get better lead over the other.
UAAP Season 87 Volleyball is live and exclusive here on Signal. Watch it all live on the UAAP Varsity Channel, One Sports, and Filipinas Live, because legends start here. Also, something that we saw from Alpha Insurance in that third set, I felt, was them going more to Camposano and Javelona. Like we said, as contrary to just tapping Nadera over and over again. Of course, they're still going to involve him. Pero yung options, at naging mas mahirap silang basahin.
Yes, that's right. And that's the thing about being able to activate, a lot of your attackers.
Here's Camposano. And ang daming points of attack, diba? But then, you gotta credit the defense of VNS. Very ready and not stopping until they got the point.
Again, Kulabat with another one of those smart moves. Let's take a look at that. This is an attack from the pipe, and see that just everybody in the defense are stretched backwards. That very big open hole in the middle gives Casey Kulabat his 10th point. So he is a second double-digit scorer now for VNS. Following, of course, Segi with 18 points.
Camposano with such a tight angle. And he still got the point.
That's right. And if you're watching it live here, you'd really appreciate how he went up for that attack, the angle that he chose. We actually had a very good view of it.
At ang hirap. Ang hirap ng angle na meron siya dun, but he was able to get it down.
Right. So Camposano is also in double digits for Alpha Insurance. That's his 13th point. Oh, ball is
What
still
a
alive. What a chase.
Wow! But still, sabi ni CJ Segi, wala na kayong isa-save.
That was really an excellent hit from Segi. But this chase really was amazing as well. You know, the effort to keep the ball alive. But yun nga, that just gave VNS the momentum kasi everybody was scrambling to get back into position on the side of Alpha Insurance.
That's been the story of most of the points VNS has scored here. Well, actually, the 2 points they've scored. They make the Alpha coverage scramble first before they choose their attack points. But Camposano, he says, you know what? Just come at me, and I'll still find a way. Mangolabdan tried to go a different direction. Now he goes to Kulabat from the pipe, received by Alpha. They target Mangolabdan, and Kulabat sends a free ball back. Javelona lifted by...
Oh, but a net
Wow.
violation error on the side of VNS. But again, we have to commend the effort of both of these teams. But in that sequence, it was VNS really scrambling to keep the ball alive on their side of the court. Yung sipag talaga nitong dalawang team na to, wala akong masabi.
Anticlimactic lang yung ending, pero ang ganda ng rally na yun sana.
That's right.
Service error for Camposano. How close has this match been? All throughout. The first set belonged to VNS 25-21, 25-23 yung second set. VNS pa rin din 25-19 for Alpha in the third. Javelona will try. Lifted up by Espanso. Segi, no matter where he is on the floor, still effective and efficient.
Segi now with 19 points.
How hyped are you about the future of CJ Segi? Seems like he can really get far.
That's right. I feel the same way.
That's out, and a point rewarded to VNS. You can tell that Alpha, their feelings of frustration now. Pressure is on because they can't commit any more, much errors. Very little room for error, as VNS is one set away from taking this.
Good off-speed hit. But,
Anima at the service line.
And Alpha Insurance still trailing by 1 point behind.
Kulabat, double block. Sends it back, ball still alive though. Kulabat changes that attack and it doesn't work. Alpha Insurance ties it up at 5.
Again, it's the net defense for Alpha Insurance that's been working well for them. So this time a good read on the variation of Casey Kulabat.
Anima serving. Mangolabdan tried to go quick to Villacruzes. They will try a different way again and again. The net defense, the double block, the kill block from Alpha.
Alpha Insurance having a block party here in this match. I mean, they may have lost the first 2 sets, but still, the blocking has been exceptional for them. 12 block points for the entire match for Alpha Insurance.
Segi might be the only guy that Alpha is having a difficult time blocking and stopping.
Again, the consistency of Segi. Gets another point from the pipe.
Six all, the count here in the fourth set. The runner, sir, for Sabanal. Javelona will also try, but that is sent back.
It's probably the second time that the block has bounced off the head of an attacker for Alpha Insurance.
Yeah, that's tough break. Earlier it was Camposano who experienced the same thing. Easy call. Service is long for Villacruzes. And so while VNS are getting some points off of their execution, they're also giving it away from their errors. Segi. Oh, nicely done by Sabanal.
No coverage for VNS.
And the technical timeout, the first one here in the fourth set, it's Alpha Insurance up by 1.
Dahan ng pasa at na-convert ng mga chance ball. They also strengthened their line of defense as seen in their 3-man tower block. On VNS's side, it's the errors that cost them the possible sweep a while ago. For Alpha, it's play it simple. For VNS, it's play it clean. Now let's go back to you, Jed and Ivy.
Thank you so much, Alexis. 8 apiece for these two teams, and neither team allowing the other to get away. It's been point for point, but this is the last thing you want, to be giving your opponents free points with errors.
And of course, if you are the receiving end of these errors, you would very much take it. Free points, of course. Javelona with 12 points.
You know what I'm amused with? The ages of the guys playing for VNS. I mean, Nursidik, he got the point there, and he's one of the older statesmen already there. Second oldest in the team at 26 years old. But Howard Medina, or Roderick Medina rather, who's on the court right now, is just 16 years old. 17 years old.
And they're already getting this kind of exposure. I mean,
check this, Ivy. Earlier we saw Howard Guerra check in and play a few sequences for them. 15 years old, playing at this level.
That's right. So that really says a lot about, I mean, it's really raw talent if you look at it. It's really raw. But the fact that they're able to perform still at this level says a lot about what these young players can do.
And to get their feet wet at such a high level of the game so early, that will only do their career as well.
That's right. So net violation error in the side of VNS.
VNS looks like they're puzzled at who committed that error. Our first referee saying it was the shoulder, possibly of Villacruzes. So it's Nadera putting the ball in play. Loaded serve. Mangulabnan will go to Segi.
Oh, good wind up there from Segi.
He stays up in the air enough time for photographers to take a good snap of his flight.
That was already slow motion, by the way.
Yeah, yes.
So if if the attacker is someone like Segi, we need a slower motion.
Here's Camposano. VNS with a counter-attack. Block was there. Anima, good coverage. Segi again.
He really winds up very well, puts in a lot of power into the attack, and he also has very good contact with the ball.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yung contact niya with the ball because of his timing, because of his power, and leaping ability for sure. Anima had the right intention, pero masyadong napalakas yung palo and giving up a point to VNS, who's now ahead by 2, 13-11.
So it is the errors again that Alpha Insurance would need to be careful about.
Camposano, double block works. Ball still alive though from the back row. Nadera could not get it over.
Back-to-back attack errors for Alpha Insurance, so that makes Coach Mike call for time.
Let's listen into their huddle. They're down by 3.
Diba? Bagay mo yung play. Hindi po pwedeng mag-stick tayo doon. Naghintay lang natin mag-error yung kalaban. Ha? O, pasok tayo na maayos. Bagay mo yung play. Pwede yung papalayos.
Gawin natin pala yun, pre.
Sige. Habulin natin, boys. Tara.
Shake things up was the call of Coach Mike in that huddle.
So they've become a bit too predictable. So they need to change how they've been doing things. So let's see what would be the new strategy or the new plays that they would be coming up. But the substitution will be called in for Alpha Insurance.
Really changing it up at this point. Nadera and Apolinario will be taken out in the meantime. Jan Manglabdan had already been a part of VNS in the 2024 Invitational. Casas, good hit. Pero andun yung depensa. Segi got creative.
Imagine
wow!
That was an excellent attack by Segi. That was already a broken play. But it didn't seem like to be a broken play for Segi.
And, you know, I don't know. I'm at the loss of words to describe how CJ Segi has been in this game. No touch rules the first referee, and Camposano's hit out. VNS gets their 16th point. They hold a 5-point lead over Alpha Insurance as we head into our second technical timeout of set 4. The veteran with 14 points leading the way for Alpha Insurance. We've known how good Edward is at playing the game as an open hitter, but how about the main man on the other side, CJ Segi, and his reintroduction, or introduction, some might say, to Spiker's turf.
So he already has 24 points. And I think he can surpass his last performance.
VNS,
yeah, scores a point from the back. That hit the head of one of the blockers.
I stand by what I mentioned kanina na I really feel like Olabat is also an incredible player, but you know, with Segi there, clearly CJ will be the guy to watch out for, but Kulabat is so efficient as well. And VNS, they picked up their slack here in the fourth set despite not being able to cover that attack. Five-point lead for VNS. Alpha trying to mount a comeback. They start by playing defense.
So that is what has been missing in the last few sequences. VNS had a 7-point run. We started with 11 tied. They're tied at 11, and from then on, VNS scored the succeeding points.
Mangolabnan going to Segi. And we all almost sound like a broken record saying Mangolabnan to Segi, but that's been the story of VNS's attack.
But why not? You know, if you're done Mangolabnan, Segi obviously is on fire, so why not?
25 points for Segi. Mangolabnan sends it to the back. Lopez will initiate Casas. And that's off the block. So Alpha staying in the hunt. It's still a 4-point difference, but they're refusing to get left behind completely.
So this can be doable for Alpha Insurance. They can still tie this up. But first, of course, this service by Baptista.
Again, being reinserted to make his mark from the service area. The off-speed for Segi. Is there anything that this young man cannot do?
26 points now for Segi.
We hyped up Vince Nadera's 26-point output against Savoj. Segi says,
I can surpass that.
Hold my cup and let me just go to work. We've seen some very impressive performances in the Spikers turf recently. Greg Dolor in their loss previously to Chris Cross, he had 32 points, scoring outbursts. And Segi is including himself in that conversation. Nadera checks back in, so does Apolinario. Casas and Lopez pulled out. Villacruzes will be in. Capuno asked out for now. J.M. Apolinario will put the ball in play. 15 serving 19. Mangolabnan going. That's out for Kulabat.
So just now a 3-point advantage being enjoyed by VNS. This definitely be a test of character now for Alpha Insurance.
Very much doable, but they have to be careful to clean their play up. Manato going to Avelona.
Oh, but a net violation errors, a lucky break for Alpha Insurance.
And Nursidik knew it. Blaming his shirt for that error too. Let's see what happened there. Actually, yes.
Yes, it was his shirt. So, tight-fitting shirt might be better next time.
Go tayo, 6 points lang yan, ha? Casey, sa loob, tara, let's go, let's go. Let's go! Casey, kaya yan, lakas mo yung loob mo. Papalo ka ng break ball, di ba? Natatakot ka kay out eh. Pero kung buo loob mo na inside, di ba? Pasok yun. O, go, kaya yan, kaya mo yan, kaya mo yan.
Coach Rafael Campo is showing a challenge to Casey Kulabat na talagang maging kumpiyansa dun sa atake niya. And if you're a player, that's what you want to hear from your coach.
Yeah, he was saying, kaya mo yan. You know, that confidence booster, the trust that your coach has on you. So let's see how Casey will respond to that.
Segi sends that out, and just like that, it's only a 1-point lead. Alpha Insurance is right back in the match.
It's a 4-point run for Alpha Insurance, and 3 of that came from the errors of VNS.
Mangolabnan going to Nursidik. That's out. We got a tied game.
4 consecutive errors committed by VNS. That gives Alpha Insurance the opportunity, and they've tied the match.
And the coaching staff of VNS looks stumped with what they're seeing right now. Mangolabnan going back to Nursidik. Javelona will try. Double block was there. They go back to Nadera.
That was too tight, but Nadera still managed to make something out of that. It was a difficult set, very close to the net.
My goodness. This is Spiker Surf action. Just a while ago, Alpha Insurance was down by 5. All of a sudden, up by 1. Mangolabnan. They tried to go to Medino. Segi lifts it up. Mangolabnan. Quick to Nursidik.
That was a good kill by Nursidik. Good connection with Mangolabnan.
They tried other options, but in the end, they went back to what was reliable.
Very sharp angle as well by Nursidik.
He saw the gap and went straight to it. We're tied again, 20 apiece. Christian Floresca serves for VNS. The runner doesn't work. And they found a gap again. Back-to-back attacks for Nursidik. VNS now threatening to end things here in the 4th set. Well, they looked like they were on their way before that comeback rally. But forget what I said, because an error ties it up again at 21.
So this is as tight as it can be, but I think much what we really expected for, of course, Alpha Insurance would definitely want to extend this to a 5th.
Absolutely, and JM Avelona trying to get his team there. He's at the service line. Mangolabnan. Camposano found a way. Nadera. Espanso will allow his team a chance.
Oh, that was good.
Good save. Camposano, the attack. That's out.
And no touch from the blocker. But I think there would be a challenge on the side of Alpha Insurance.
It was Sabanal who was asking for that challenge to be made. Their coaches adhering. And we're going to see a review of that last play. A crucial call here.
That's right, that's right. But, you know, if it does go their way, that would really be a good challenge to call. But there was no touch, I think. We're looking at this. Yes, there was no touch. Unsuccessful challenge.
Well, like we said earlier, worth a try. If you still have a couple of challenges left, this close, when you're fighting to survive and force a 5th set, you're going to use that already.
Kulabat comes back to the game and will be serving for VNS. VNS is ahead by 1 point, 22 serving 21. Casey Kulabat with 11 points now.
Camposano with that familiar cross-court hit.
Camposano just flying over the blockers. He had his approach, he had his good wind-up, and is able to convert that into a point.
Camposano was actually quiet in their last game against Signal, but the problem now is how do they cover the attacks of CJ Segi?
No, only one blocker actually challenging CJ Segi. And you can't do that, especially if he's performing this well. He is on fire.
Camposano, the blockers were there. Free ball given up. VNS, Mangulabnan.
Of course,
going
they go
back.
to Segi. Was there a touch?
And it was ruled in. But now, Alpha Insurance will be using another challenge to check kung in or out yung bagsak ng bola on that hit off CJ Segi.
But if this challenge becomes successful, I think VNS will do a counter challenge for a block touch.
Ah.
So this is out. Successful challenge for Alpha Insurance. But yeah, so this is the counter challenge now for the side of VNS.
You called it. You called it right. And now it's VNS asking our officials to check a possible block touch. Oh, wow. Wow. Two successful challenge to go back to what the initial call was, or at least to where the point was in the first place. The beauty of challenges,
That's
Ivy.
right. So this now goes into the favor of VNS. They are with match point.
And before we play that first match point, timeout requested by Alpha.
Pasingum na lang sideboard dito. Maliit naman yung blocker dito eh. Ha? Dali niyo yung bola dun. Ha? Ah, sige, tara, tara. Pasa lang, pasa lang, pasa lang. Let's go.
VNS possibly 1 point away from taking their first win of the 2025 Open Conference. Alpha Insurance fighting hard to try and force a fifth set.
Now, of course, this is still doable for Alpha Insurance, but no room for errors on their side.
Camposano gets the receive. Nadera. Defense was there. Mangulabnan going to Segi. And the first match point protected. Saved by Alpha Insurance. They're looking for 3 more. Great coverage all around. Timeout VNS.
Ay, pasok ang maganda ha.
Try natin mag-dos. Hindi, feeling ko kasi...
Wag muna. Stay muna tayo.
Tatlo to day.
Let's go na yan, tara.
Save VNS!
Let's go.
Practically a players only timeout happened there.
So the players strategizing what to do, but I get the feeling that the last point would definitely go to Segi.
It has to, right? I mean, with how successful he has been in dismantling the defense.
And the play that was being discussed there was actually what's set to give Segi. So we'll see with the sequence.
Well, first they need to be able to get control of this. Mangulabnan goes to Segi, off speed.
Opportunity now. Camposano's blocked. Good coverage. Oh no, this is a free ball.
Mangulabnan again to Segi. There was a touch. And there was a net violation. It ends with that. And VNS. Oh, there's a challenge though. And the challenge will be granted.
So, still trying on the side of Alpha Insurance. Again, more opportunities just to see if they can still be in the game. Might be a slim chance for them, but it's worth a try.
The block touch will be reviewed here. So a conversation happening.
So, ang layo, di ba? So, net touch ang iyaman natin, hindi yung block touch kasi wala namang ano. Ha? Okay? Sige.
All right, so if you guys didn't hear that, the initial violation that was called was a net touch. The challenge,
And
inangat
tinawag,
ng
diba?
Alpha was block touch. And the first referee saying, we can't review a block touch
Okay
because it was a net touch that happened.
Net touch ang tinawag natin, hindi naman block touch eh, di ba?
So Alpha just withdrawing the challenge.
Yeah. And VNS scoring their first win of the Spikers Turf 2025 Open Conference. Thanks to a masterful performance as a team, but also in particular by one CJ Segi.
That's right. So it has been a team effort for this young team. And but someone just really stood out, and you know, we've been mentioning his name over and over again. So, and I think if you've been watching the game, it's no question as well.
Absolutely. It took 4 sets in this match for VNS to get their first win. We'll talk more about it when we come back.
Back inside the Rizal Memorial Sports Complex here in Manila for the Spikers Turf Open Conference. And as you can see, the match has just ended. And the VNS-Laticrete Griffins dominated over the Alpha Insurance Protectors in 3 sets to 1. Now, the player of the game, no other than their leader, CJ Segi, with 28 blasting points, 26 attacks, and 2 blocks. Congratulations, CJ. So, CJ, gaano ka-importante yung sinabi mo sa akin kanina na improved yung blockings nyo and at the same time improved yung chemistry nyo? Na kahit 2 linggo pa lang kayong nag-e-ensayo, talagang you built on your gelling.
Sobrang effective kasi. Sobrang effective kasi sabi ko, bago mag-start yung game, sabi ko agad sa kanila na, huwag nila isipin na bago lang kami. Yun, isipin nila na, matagal na kayo magkakasama and nakakapag-training naman kami. So ayun, sabi ko, kumpiyansa lang, wag mawawala yung composure namin sa isa't isa.
And syempre, CJ, sabi mo nga na 2 weeks pa lang yung gelling nyo, pero talagang gusto nyo makuha yung panalo na to. So how does it feel to get your first win of the season? Grabe, sobrang pinakabuo kami. Dikitan yung puntos ng set 4.
Sobrang saya. Sobrang saya. Di namin sabi kung ano yung na-feel namin ngayon, pero sobrang saya namin. So yun, thank you Lord, thank you Lord, thank you.
And CJ, ngayon, pagkakataon mo na, batiin yung family mo and your loved ones mo. Go.
First of all, binabati ko yung mother ko, si mama nanonood. Tapos yung mga kaibigan ko sa Cavite, nanonood dito, thank you guys support. And
Thank you, Chicken Chingu, Atericas Baxilog, Centro Pilates, Once Rubber, Jersey Haven, Limitless Sports, Lola Spread, Chef on a Diet, Magic Scoop, Extreme Burgers, Gloria's Heritage Chicken, and Saints and Lattes.
And
Thank you.
Congratulations
Thank you
again,
po, thank
CJ.
you.
Tomorrow wins and to more exciting matchups for you. Now, congratulations again to the VNS-Laticrete Griffins. Now, don't go away when we return. It's the Crisscross King Crunchers going against Savoj. Don't go away.
Thank you po, thank you, thank you.
All right, now we head straight into set 4 highlights. Thank you, Alexis, and congratulations, CJ Seguier, player of the game. Ivy, this set 4 was tightly contested.
That's right. And it was a very exciting set number 4. We never knew that who's going to get it or who's going to win. There was a 6-point run in the middle by VNS, but tables have turned, and then Alpha Insurance also had their own six-point run, but at the end, VNS really held on. So in the maturity of the young players, doon mo na rin nakita na lumabas dito sa game na to. And Segi just really took over the leadership. You know, that he added a lot of firepower into the team and talagang really performing the role of a captain. And these are the numbers for set number 4. A lot of conversions on the side of VNS. But again, we have to give credit also to the blocking of Alpha Insurance of 5 block points in set number 4. That has been one of the consistent mark of Alpha Insurance all throughout the game. They have been exceptional in defending the net. But yung strategy rin itong VNS, yung consistency, yung resilience, yung tiyaga ng VNS, at the end of the day, was able to earn them their first win in the tournament.
And we have to tip our hats off then dito sa Alpha Insurance because they fought and they gave us a great performance. Kaya nga naging dikit yung mga laban natin. But again, VNS eventually taking the win. We have one more match today to bring to you. It's going to be between the Crisscross King Crunchers and the Savoj Spin Doctors. And we'll leave you for now. We'll say goodbye for my partners, Ivy Remuña and Alexis Tinsay, for our incredible teams in production and technical. My name is Jot Sulit, thanking you for watching the Spikers Turf 2025 Open Conference. Please don't go away because it's going to be King Cross versus Savoj to end this triple header of a day with a bang. We'll see you later.